Hey everyone, it's Lindsay from Meal Mentor, and today I'm going to show you how I make a salad once a week. So just once a week I make a really big salad, and then I take a little bit of it every day to eat with a meal or when I want a snack, but that way I always have a fresh salad ready and waiting for me to add on to any meal, and I make sure I eat a salad every day, and also I don't have to make and chop it every day because I love to batch cook everything. So the first thing you'll need is a big Tupperware bowl, and admittedly, you want to buy the Tupperware. You really actually want to spend a little extra money to buy real Tupperware and not one of the more cheaper versions because I find they get soggy and Tupperware actually keeps it fresh the whole week. I've actually tested it and it kept it fresh up to 10 days once and the salad was fine and I lived to tell about it. I wouldn't recommend doing that every time, but real Tupperware really makes a difference. And so I'm going to show you guys the ingredients that I use, and then I just basically put them all into my Tupperware. And you will have to, this is huge, I know, so it might make sense for you to get multiple smaller ones. I really just love this big one because I can pull out of it, but you can make room in your fridge. I had to completely rearrange how my shelves were, and I stack a lot of things now, but you can make room, I promise. It's worth it. So here we go, big salad. So the first thing I do is I start with 3 to 4 bags of a salad mix. And I'm just using a baby lettuce mix, but you can use whatever mix you like or any combination of mixes. Sometimes I throw arugula in to be different. Sometimes I do baby spinach to be different, just kind of whatever. And if you go to a farmer's market, of course, you can just get a big bag and not have to buy it in a bag. And some stores sell them in plastic boxes, and you get a big amount that way. So each of these bags is 5 ounces. So basically, I do about 15 to 20 ounces of salad. What I find I normally do is I start with 15 ounces, and then later in the week, I add my 5th ounce later because it starts to the ratio of veg to the salad leaves doesn't stay the way I like it. I like to add more leaves in later. So that's something you can do. So I just do my 3 bags, my 15 ounces of spinach leaves or lettuce leaves or mesclun or arugula, whatever you like. And try different leaves out, all season long I'm kind of going by whatever's available with on sale or any number of things. But you definitely want to go with a salad mix and not too much of a raw kale or anything that's really fibrous. So see, now it's all filled up. Now it's just for the toppings. So for the toppings, I do some shredded carrots. I don't do the whole bag. I basically just take a handful and put that right on top. And, you can always add a little more, a little less. It's really about sort of your preference. I don't like too many carrots. I would actually prefer to chop these into really small pieces, but my husband likes the long strands. Sometimes I add shredded cabbage if I'm in the mood for a crunch, which tends to be more in the summer months. But I'll just add that. And this is another one of those that I don't add the whole bag, just a handful, and it'll last until next month, or I end up putting it in a soup or something. Just fun, or I'll throw it in with my pasta. Then I add in 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. I happen to really like white, but brown would be fine. You could buy sliced mushrooms at the store, although I find sliced mushrooms at the supermarket are sliced really thick. They're not thin, so if you have a texture issue or you like them really thin like I do, I would recommend buying the whole package of mushrooms and then slicing them. It takes a minute to just slice them up, and then you get them right into the size you like. And I also don't like the stems. I'm really worried about the stems. And so that's just a thing you can do, but of course buy them sliced to make it a little easier on yourself, but they will be a little more chunky. So then my mushrooms get added. In the summer, when I have fresh basil, I love to add fresh basil. I really think it adds something a little extra to the salad. And you could do it, but depending on the dressings you use, it might not be worth it. My husband actually doesn't like basil in the salad, so his salad doesn't include it. But for me, I love to add the fresh basil. And I just tear it up, put it on top. You could chop it too. I think basil's a little better when you tear it, but you don't even need to use it if you don't want to. But I love having fresh basil in my salad. And again, it's a personal preference. I usually do probably about 10 of these big leaves worths. I would do more because I love it so much, but I try to kind of rein it in a little bit because sometimes my husband eats out of my salad bowl, or I have friends over for dinner and they're like, "Is this salad all basil?" And I'm like, "Yes, I love it." And then the only other thing is I add, actually 2 more things. I add a whole bunch of green onions. And so usually about 6 to 7 is a bunch. At Trader Joe's you get 20, and so this again lasts me 2 weeks, or I'll just end up using it in cooking, or every night sometimes I'll chop up some onion to do as a little garnish. And so I cook these guys, I chop them all in a bunch all at once to save time. And you could put them on the diagonal like that way to be really pretty, but I don't care so much about pretty. I just chop them up. A few years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I heard a lecture from Dr. Furman, and he said to eat raw onions and raw mushrooms every day. And I actually hated both onions and mushrooms at the time, but was like, okay, I'll try this. And it was pretty miserable for the first few weeks, but then by the end I tolerated them, and now I love them and can't imagine them not being in my salad. So here's where my salad is coming right now. The next thing I do is I add a zucchini, and it's 1 to 2. It basically depends. This zucchini is pretty small, as you can see, compared to my hand. So I would just add this one, maybe a second one. But sometimes zucchinis are really, really big, you know. And so I kind of just measure it based on it. In the summer months, you can get those little baby zucchinis, and I love to slice those. I also usually add 1 to 2 cucumbers. I do Persian cucumbers because they're smaller, and I think that they're a little less watery, but the big cucumbers too. And again, it's the same thing. It's just trying to make sure you've got a ratio that you like. And this I do really easy. I just slice it long ways. And then I do little halves. Oh, I love the smell. I actually snack on these all the time. They're so good. And I add this too. And if you don't like cucumber or you don't like it in your salad, that's totally cool. It's just something that I really like to add in mine. It just, for me, I love cucumbers. And it's also really kind of refreshing. And I like the crunch, and it's super filling. And then I just have my zucchini. And I cut my zucchini a little different. If I had the little baby ones, I'll slice them. But with a regular zucchini, because they're kind of like big and bulbous, and I don't want to have too big of a bite in my salad, I end up quartering it. And you see, I always cut everything. Let me see, here we go. I always cut everything all at once just to be fast. And that's it. That's my big, beautiful salad. I will add little cherry tomatoes. I'll just sprinkle a few on right before I eat. I don't put them with the salad because I like to slice them, and I find that if you slice them and then the slices get in the salad, sometimes it makes it a little prematurely soggy. But here is my beautiful salad. I hope you guys start making them. And these are Tupperware containers. Again, buy the Tupperware, and I will try to find one on Amazon and leave a link for you. Have a great day. Make your salads.